Normally, I like to just go with
Kathy's Basement came about, I think, mainly growing up in Baton Rouge and then in Cincinnati. We never had a basement in the houses that I lived in. And it was always kind of like this nuclear family urban legend that we were going to move into this house with a basement, and the basement was going to be reserved for all of my mom's kids to have their way with it, to do all their artistic things and pursue their passions in the basement. So I always imagined being able to jam out with musician friends of mine and recording and that type of thing. So starting during this process of this year, my mom is high risk, and it just really put me in a position where I wasn't able to go visit her and check on her. And it started making me think about the value of preserving relationships and cherishing them while you have the opportunity to. So it was always my goal to make it big and buy my mom the house with the basement in it. But it became a mission of mine to make sure that I could give her the best basement that I could at the moment. So Kathy's Basement represents, the music that would be coming from the basement that we never had. So. On this project, I definitely worked with my big bro, Lil John Roberts, amazing, world famous drummer, producer, artist in his own right. In addition to that, I worked with Justin Gilbert, piano player for Justin Timberlake, as well as Daryl Freeman, amazing bassist, and Bruce Robinson Jr. On the production side is Mr. Pierre Mador. He's produced a lot of really big records, including Usher's most recent single, Bad Habits. So between he and I, me kind of functioning as a songwriter, him kind of functioning as the overseer on the production end, we kind of were able to, put it all together. We originally started recording this a couple of years ago, and the thing about it is we lost the files. So the project just got benched basically. And once COVID hit, I'm like, I gotta finish this, because the producer Brian Michael Cox started playing one of the records that we were able to finish before we lost everything. So it kind of was the catalyst for me saying, I gotta finish this. So basically we were just kind of operating virtually. I was going in the studio by myself, masks on, just one-on-one, like an engineer and me, or an engineer and somebody else. And the distance was just kept, and we were able to kind of really push our way through it. After that, all the mixing was done virtually as well. So I would be sending the files to the mix engineers. They would be mixing, and then we would be virtually getting on like FaceTime or what have you, and listening back together and making adjustments. So it was crazy. I would say it probably took about a month to kind of fine tune everything. The process from inception to now has been about 2 years, 2 to 3 years, because when I started recording the initial ideas for this project, maybe like 4 months after I started recording, that's when I started, Sting and Shaggy released the single that I co-wrote for them, and then I got a lot of opportunities. So it basically took me away from my own, kind of creating my own thing, and I kind of just went with the flow of things for the next 2 years. So this is kind of my first year back to the artist thing. Given the circumstances, it's been crazy, but it's been good to kind of do my own thing again.
just wanna run with it, I don't wanna fight it. Ain't trying to rush you to make up your mind. Just wanna put some more quality in our time, girl. Don't make me wait.
Oh man, I definitely want to collaborate with John Legend. I would love to collaborate with him. Ohio, that in common. I would also love to collaborate with like BJ the Chicago Kid, as well as her. I have a lot of artists that are on my tiers of artists to work with, and a lot of them I've rubbed elbows with along the way. But it's a timing thing. So I'd love to. I'm a Midwest guy, so everybody in that whole Midwestern area, I feel like there's an opportunity to connect. And beyond that, I'd like to continue to work with international artists like I've done in the past as well.
'Cause I've been searching for a while, girl, and I know
Maintaining my creativity and my sanity this year has been a challenge. As you can see from my backdrop behind me, this is all handmade, by the way. So I've had some time on my hands to be able to cut out all of these photos and hot glue them on this backdrop behind me. So I've been able to pursue other artistic passions. From the creative standpoint, also, I would like people out there to kind of get to know me more. So I feel like the pandemic has brought about an opportunity for artists to make a slight departure from what people know them for, and to maybe expose some of those secondary or tertiary, elements of their personality. So for me, I'm a conversationalist. I love talking about music. I love music history. And I've been able to do other things that I didn't think I was going to be able to do, but the opportunity just came. So I've been able to host an interview show called Candid, and I've been able to talk to a lot of music industry people that I see all the time, but we never have the opportunity to really have a meaningful conversation. So doing that and trying to help expose people to other parts of my personality, like French speaking and French learning. So trying to help people just diversify themselves, even though it seems like we're on lockdown every other week. There's not much we can do. And I've also done the virtual performance thing. Once we first got shut down here in Atlanta in March, I immediately started performing on Instagram Live, and that's been a process. I was doing that every week, and it just kept me creative from a performance standpoint, although it's very difficult to feel that energy through the screen, especially there's no sound or anything. You're just looking at comments and trying to interpret them for what it is. So it's been a challenge, but I do feel like after this is all said and done, we'll all have increased ourselves, hopefully, and grown from it.
body's moving up and down in sequence.
I think people can expect more music from me. Obviously, Kathy's Basement is just released. I have some cool media that I've been putting together to support that. So I'll be releasing that. Starting next week. Actually, I'll be releasing a video for one of the records, Don't Make Me Wait, my acoustic version of the record I wrote for Sting and Shaggy. But in addition to that, some other meaningful media. I'll still be live streaming here and there, but also I'll be working on some new music. There's one or two other records that I didn't release on Kathy's Basement somewhat intentionally, in order to be able to have something else to keep people entertained. And I'm also working on an acoustic project, so I really want to be able to give people something in the winter to cozy up to, if you will.